New York State is home to nearly 20 million people, making it one of the most populated states in the US. However, a striking fact not known by many is that approximately 42% of the state's population resides in just one city. Yes, New York City, which occupies only about 4% of the state's land area. The remaining 58% of the population is spread across the rest of New York State, particularly upstate New York, which feels surprisingly empty. With such a significant portion of the population concentrated in New York City, what makes upstate New York seem so empty? To really understand why this region is often seen as empty, we need to dive into its geography, climate, economy, and other influencing factors. And let me tell you, I've been to New York City a few times, but after researching the stunning landscapes of upstate New York for this video, I'm already planning a road trip there this year. Number 1. Geography and natural barriers. First, let's dive into the geography of upstate New York. Upstate New York is a large region that covers a big part of the state. It lies north and northwest of the New York City metropolitan area. This region includes the Middle and Upper Hudson Valley, the Capital District, the Mohawk Valley, Central New York, the Southern Tier, the Finger Lakes, Western New York, and North Country. Major cities in upstate New York include Albany, Syracuse, and Buffalo. However, much of the rest of New York State is rural and often isolated. Generally, upstate New York is seen as everything north of New York City and Long Island. New York City residents usually see this as a boundary, but this view fades as you go further north. Knowing these divisions helps us understand upstate New York's geography better and how it affects things like population and the economy. One of the reasons upstate New York remains sparsely populated compared to downstate is its geography. The region's landscape is defined by its diverse topography, including the rugged mountains like the Adirondacks and Catskills, the Allegheny Plateau, and large forests and lakes. These natural features create challenges for building roads and other infrastructure. This can make it hard for people to live and work in these areas. Look at these mountains. Though scenic, create obstacles for development. The Adirondacks, for instance, are part of the Canadian Shield. They offer little flat land for farming or building. The rough terrain and harsh winters make it tough to keep roads and services in good shape, which discourages people from moving to these areas. In the western part of upstate New York, while the landscape is flatter, the region is dotted with lakes like the Finger Lakes and large stretches of forested land, including the Allegheny and Catskill forests. The presence of these natural features, while beautiful, limits the available land for agriculture or large-scale development. For instance, the dense forests and the poor soil left behind by glacial activity restrict farming opportunities. This, combined with the challenges of maintaining infrastructure around these natural barriers, further reduces economic opportunities, making it less appealing for new residents. Additionally, upstate New York is located over 150 miles away from major cities like New York City and Boston. For example, Albany, the state capital, is approximately 150 miles north of New York City, while cities like Syracuse and Rochester are around 250 and 330 miles away, respectively. Buffalo, situated in the westernmost part of the state, is nearly 400 miles from New York City. It can easily be a 6-hour trip, not convenient for a quick commute. This significant distance adds to the region's isolation, making it challenging for residents to access diverse job opportunities and economic activities available in these urban centers. Long commutes are often impractical, leading many individuals to relocate entirely in search of better employment prospects. This geographic separation contributes to population decline and hinders economic growth in upstate New York, as the region struggles to retain and attract a workforce. Number 2. Climate challenges. The climate of upstate New York is another factor that has kept its population low, and I'm pretty sure you suspect why. While New York City also experiences cold winters, its coastal location gives it a slightly milder climate, with winter temperatures typically about 5 degrees warmer than in upstate New York. However, this difference isn't drastic. Both endure harsh winter conditions. In upstate New York, the colder temperatures are often accompanied by heavier snowfall and longer winters, making the climate more challenging for year-round living. Winters are long, cold, and snowy, particularly in areas like Buffalo and Syracuse, where old air passing over the warmer waters of nearby lakes can pick up moisture, leading to intense snowfall that can dump several feet of snow in just a few days. This kind of weather can make daily life difficult and has likely discouraged large numbers of people from setting in these areas. If not, just ask the Buffalo Bills fans last season against their playoff game with the Chiefs. Their field looked like this. Summers in upstate New York are pleasant, but they're also short. The growing season for crops is brief, which has historically limited agricultural development in the region. These climate conditions have always been a factor in keeping the population relatively low compared to other parts of the state and country. With the geographical and climatic factors in mind, let's look at how population distribution has evolved. Upstate New York covers a vast area. To give you a sense of its size, consider driving from Buffalo on the western edge to Albany on the eastern edge, a journey of about 300 miles that takes roughly 5 hours by car. This expansive area, with its diverse landscapes and climates, influences where people choose to live and the economic opportunities available. Number 3, population distribution. As mentioned earlier, the population of New York State is heavily concentrated in New York City, but it wasn't always this way. In the early days of the United States, upstate New York played a crucial role in the country's development. The construction of the Erie Canal in the 1820s connected the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean, making New York a critical hub for trade and migration. Cities like Buffalo, Rochester, and Albany grew rapidly during this time. However, as the 20th century progressed, the growth of these cities slowed. New York City, with its booming economy driven by its financial services, media, and tech sectors, continued to attract people from around the globe, becoming a leading global financial center. This economic dynamism created job opportunities and amenities that drew both talent and investment, reinforcing the Big Apple's status as a magnet for people seeking advancement. Meanwhile, upstate New York cities faced economic decline as industries moved out or shut down, and people left in search of better job opportunities elsewhere. In fact, between July 2017 and July 2018 alone, over 48,000 people left New York State, with a significant portion of them coming from upstate New York. This trend of migration, although stable after COVID, has contributed to the ongoing challenges faced by the region's economy. Today, the population of upstate New York is sparse compared to New York City. Buffalo, the second largest city in the state, has just over 250,000 people, and its metro population, including Niagara Falls, is close to 1 million people, tiny compared to New York City's metropolitan 20 million people. Other cities like Rochester, Syracuse, and Albany are even smaller. Outside of these cities, much of upstate New York is rural, with small towns and vast stretches of farmlands and forests. Number 4, economic opportunities and job market. One of the main reasons why more people don't live in upstate New York is the lack of economic opportunities. While New York City is a global financial hub with a diverse economy that offers jobs in everything from finance to technology to media, upstate New York has struggled to create the same level of economic growth. The 1825 opening of the Erie Canal across upstate New York was a pivotal moment that transformed the region's economy. The canal significantly eased the movement of goods from the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes cities through upstate New York to the port of New York City. This crucial transportation link fostered rapid economic growth, turning upstate New York into a thriving manufacturing hub during the Second Industrial Revolution. Cities like Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse emerged as major industrial centers. The canal's influence helped spawn iconic companies such as General Electric, IBM, Kodak, and Xerox. For example, Kodak's innovations in photography and film, General Electric's advances in electrical equipment, and IBM's early computing developments were all made possible by the region's industrial boom. Buffalo's steel mills and Rochester's photography industry were particularly noteworthy, cementing the area's reputation as a manufacturing powerhouse. But as industries began to decline in the latter half of the 20th century, these cities faced significant job losses. Factories closed, and with them went the jobs that had supported entire communities. The decline of manufacturing left a void that has been difficult to fill. Today, the economy in upstate New York is more dependent on sectors like healthcare, education, and tourism. While these industries provide some jobs, they have not been enough to sustain large populations. Many young people who grow up in upstate New York leave for college or work and never return, contributing to a brain drain that has further weakened the local economy. Number 5, infrastructure. Infrastructure, or the lack of it, also plays a role in why fewer people live in upstate New York. The region's vast rural landscape makes it difficult and expensive to build and maintain roads, bridges, and public transportation systems. Unlike New York City, where public transit is extensive and reliable, many parts of upstate New York have limited public transportation options, making it hard for people to get around without a car. Housing is another significant issue. While the cost of living and housing in upstate New York is cheaper compared to New York City, this affordability doesn't always compensate for the other missing elements. Limited job opportunities, few amenities, and less vibrant cultural and social scenes can outweigh the appeal of lower housing costs. Despite these challenges, upstate New York remains a popular destination for visitors. The region's beautiful landscapes, including serene lakes, forests, and the stunning Niagara Falls, attract many tourists. However, the same natural beauty that draws people from short visits does not always convince them to stay long-term. The lack of infrastructure, combined with fewer economic opportunities and amenities, often leads people to return to the bustling city life they're accustomed to, rather than settling down in upstate New York. Number 6. Education and healthcare. Education and healthcare are two areas where upstate New York has some strengths, but also some challenges. The region is home to several prestigious universities, including Cornell University in Ithaca and the University of Rochester. These institutions attract students and faculty from around the world and contribute to the local economy. However, outside of these university towns, educational opportunities can be limited. Many rural areas struggle with underfunded schools and a lack of access to advanced courses and extracurricular activities. This can make it difficult for young people in upstate New York to compete with their peers in more populated areas, contributing to the outmigration of talent. Healthcare is another mixed bag. While upstate New York has some excellent hospitals and healthcare facilities, particularly in cities like Rochester and Buffalo, rural areas often face shortages of doctors and other healthcare professionals. Access to healthcare can be a significant challenge in these communities, particularly for older residents who may have difficulty traveling long distances for medical care. Number 7. Other factors: lifestyle and preferences. Beyond the tangible factors like geography, climate, and economy, lifestyle preferences also play a role in why more people don't live in upstate New York. Many people, particularly younger generations, are drawn to the excitement and opportunities of big cities. Cities like Boston or New York City, with its vibrant culture, diverse population, and endless entertainment options, is a magnet for those seeking a fast-paced urban lifestyle. In contrast, upstate New York offers a quieter, more rural way of life. For some, this is a positive, a chance to escape the city that never sleeps and enjoy nature, small-town living, and a slower pace. But for others, especially those looking for career opportunities, social life, and cultural amenities, upstate New York may feel too isolated or lacking in excitement. Looking to the future, there are efforts underway to revitalize upstate New York. State and local governments are investing in infrastructure projects, economic development programs, and initiatives to attract new businesses and residents. There is also a growing interest in sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, and tourism, all of which could help boost the region's economy. However, the challenges are significant. Revitalizing upstate New York will require not just investment, but also a shift in how the region is perceived. It will take time to overcome the economic, geographic, and social barriers that have kept the population low. In recent years, there have been signs of hope for upstate New York. Some people are choosing to leave the high costs and congestion of New York City for the more affordable and spacious living conditions in upstate New York. The COVID-19 pandemic, which made remote work more common, has also led many to reconsider where they live. For example, there was a nearly 70% increase in the number of New York City residents moving to the Syracuse metropolitan area in 2020, according to the CBRE analysis of U.S. Postal Service records. This shift highlights a growing trend towards embracing the open spaces and natural beauty of upstate New York. Furthermore, upstate has also seen a notable influx of immigrants in recent years. Of the 7 million people living in the upstate region, approximately 475,000 are immigrants, making up around 7% of the total population. This increase is partly due to a rise in people seeking asylum and other forms of protection, reflecting a broader trend of new residents finding their way to the region. As we finish exploring why upstate New York seems so sparsely populated compared to its southern neighbor, it's clear that geography, climate, and economy all play a part. The region's vast and rugged terrain, along with its tough climate, have made it hard to develop and settle here. This has shaped its current population patterns. Economic changes also matter. Once a bustling industrial area, upstate New York has faced job losses and slow recovery. Despite efforts to improve things with new infrastructure and economic programs, the broader trends of population decline and slow growth continue. New York City's vibrant environment and many opportunities contrast sharply with upstate New York's quieter rural setting. While New York City attracts people with its lively culture and diverse job market, upstate New York offers a slower pace and natural beauty that appeals to different tastes. Looking ahead, upstate New York might balance its rural charm with economic and infrastructure challenges. With remote work on the rise and growing interest in its natural beauty, it could attract those seeking a break from city life. So, as we think about all this, one question stands out. Can upstate New York still be considered empty, or does its sparse population hide a region with untapped potential and unique charm? How we answer this will shape our view of upstate New York's future and its place in the story of New York State.